Onugwitu Anshuk Shavana Underwood Hinch Quinault. Hello, my name is Shavana Underwood and I come from the Quinault people. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm the special assistant to the president of the Quinault Indian Nation. I will be your host for this podcast, The Guy in Charge. We will be posting new episodes bi-weekly on Fridays. So I'm going to go ahead and let my co-host introduce himself.
Anugwitu, Hench Nachuktua. Hello, everybody. My name is Guy Capoeman. I am the president, chairman of the Quinault Indian Nation. I'm born and raised here. Lived here most of my life, with the exception of 4 years when I went off to college. I've been active in various things. Culture and tradition are dear to my heart, dear to my very well-being, and I've been very, very active in those things, from tribal journeys to potlatching to carving and painting. All those things have been instrumental in my life and bringing me to this point in my life, I believe. And I always share this story that when I was a child, my Uncle Randy, he was a very well-known artist, and I would go to his house every Saturday, Grandma's house, and I'd knock on his door. Uncle, I want to draw, I want to paint. He'd climb out of bed and he'd set everything up for me, and he said, I want you to copy this. I want you to draw this. And, that's kind of how I learned those things. And then, later in life, I was, I went off to school, went off to art school, which was a kind of like a foreign thought for me, because here, we don't really look at art in that kind of fashion, as like art in a gallery where folks go in and look at it and do those sorts of things. Here art has a function beyond those things. So that there was kind of a shock, but we made it through all that stuff, and I came home, and this part here is really key in my life. Is Philip Martin Hanisho. He came to my home. I must have been 22 or 3, somewhere around that time frame. And he knocked on the door, and he said, hey, he said, I want you to come with me. We want you to carve an ocean canoe. And I thought, no, I've never made anything like that. I don't know if I could do that. He said, we got faith in your ability. We got faith in your skills, and we want to hire you. We want you to pick your own crew. We're going to buy your tools, and we're going to follow you through this process and support you through this process. And that's what happened. And that there built a lot of cornerstones in the place that I call my home now. And that's myself. And how I deal with things, and how I pursue goals and objectives in life. Is that project right there, the May Eve. That was the beginning of it all, I believe. And without that canoe, where would culture be today? Would we be doing the things we do now today? I seriously doubt it. It was that canoe that started it all, that planted that seed for all of us. When you get up to speak at a gathering, and you probably heard somebody talk about the Mei at some point in your life. When you sing a song, you've probably listened to someone who was involved since that time, 1994. When you carve a canoe today, you're probably thinking about the Mei and how it looks and how it performs on the water. So those things, I believe, are the pillars of our home that we call the Quinault Indian Nation, and that that way of life that stems back to the beginning of time, to time immemorial. You know, when you know we have our own engineers, we have our own scientists, we have our own doctors, you know, we have our own speakers, you know, we have all of these things within ourself, and we've always had those things, and those are the keys to sovereignty, is to make sure we have all of that. So I believe that you know, everything I've said this far are part of my makeup, so you know, part of who I am.
Yeah. And I think it's really powerful that like just those little interactions with your mentors have brought you here and you're able to share those teachings and keep them alive. And it's just a really beautiful part of you to share. So thank you for sharing. Now that we have our introductions, um, I wanted to ask you how and why you came up with the idea to use this platform, a podcast, to connect with our members.
Well, you know, over the years, you know, I've always heard that we don't. When I say we, I'm talking about the government. We don't share or express enough of what's happening with our day to day, with all the work that's being done with different council members, from subcommittees to regional and national issues. You know, oftentimes, you know, our membership don't know exactly what some of those things are or what's happening, and I think it's really key to share exactly what is happening. And you know, we all are so advanced, if you will, in technology today, that you know, we could hop on a podcast, we could hop on Zoom, we could hop on Skype, we could hop on any one of the platforms that are there, and be able to share, you know, what we're doing as leaders. And that's why a podcast, you know, that can be shared on social media, I think is really important.
Absolutely. I think in this day and age, having an open door policy looks like having media that is accessible to everyone. Um, so, moving on to the next question. In your campaign, you had 3 major key points you wanted to focus on. Can you elaborate more about them and the course of action you're taking to keep the momentum going on them?
Yes, I think, you know, first off, the communication piece. Are you there yet?
Yeah.
I seem to have lost my screen, so I can't see what's going on, but I can hear you plain as day. Um, First off, the communication piece, I believe, was big. Just on the videos, as an example, you know, I wanted people to know and understand my thoughts, you know, before I got on board, because I remember years and years ago that tribal member, a friend of mine, was talking about, you know, folks. He wanted folks to really know the candidates before they were nominated and put onto the tribal council. He felt it was important that we really know about you. We really know your thoughts on things, because oftentimes when you get involved in governance, you get influenced by folks that are already here, or by a system that has been in place for many years. You know, system of governance, and you get influenced by that. So you know, he stressed that it's important that we get to know what your thoughts are before you get involved in the whole big governance system. And um, communication, you know, is key. And I wanted to communicate with the membership that not only live in Tahola and Queets and Quinault village, but that live off reservation as well, so that they at least get a glimpse of my thoughts and where I'm coming from when I go to deal with an issue. Now, of course, that's broad and doesn't cover, you know, the whole spectrum of issues that we have to deal with here. But I wanted to narrow it down to the basic needs that we have as people. And I believe the basic needs, you know, are the communication piece. Housing is big. I mean, we've heard it for years when we did Quinault Village. That was from that cry that was happening at that point was, you know, we need places to live. You know, you want us to come home, but there is no place to live. So that was the first step when we did the Quinault Village there. And so now that took care of that for a while. But of course, we've grown and we will continue to grow. So now we're hearing that same cry again. We need homes, we need lots, we need village sites, you know, for us to build our homes. So housing was is a big piece, and of course, with housing, as most of you know, it takes a lot of planning to get to that point. You know, you can't just buy a house and plop it in the middle of nowhere where there's no water, sewer, or electrical to the place. So infrastructure is big in that. And you know, right now, through our work that's being done by staff and by business committee members, you know, we're trying to corner this down where the funds we're getting from ARP and the other funds that are coming aboard via the Infrastructure Act, you know, we want to make sure that we tie up some of those funds so that we can continue to do the infrastructure to the sites where we want to build these homes. And one of the sites, as you know, is up on the hill here by the clinic, just down that road there, the old ranch road. There's some sites there that was the old allotment 162 that the tribe bought 12, 14 years ago for development purposes for the clinic and the build out there of that site. And now we have the Quinault that's there. The Generations building is there, and you know, that'll be beyond that will be the future site of the new housing. And that area is platted already, and you know, at this point we have some funds available to do some of the infrastructure work for the water, sewer, and electrical. So that's what's going on for the upper village. We also have a plot in Queets we're looking at as well for relocation, which will make room for 20 homes, and the same work will go there. A part of that, the nation has the nation owns some homes on fee land up around Amanda Park area. You know, we have three or four homes that we're going to advertise and put out for sale to tribal members. And formally, the nation owns those homes, and you know, we want to put those out for open bid for tribal members, so you can apply for those homes with a loan that you get from the bank. So those are some of the things that are in the hopper right now for housing. You know, where we also opened up the lower villages for the lots, the vacant lots that are down in the lower village of Tahola and Queets, and those are being advertised and assigned. So you know, we want to encourage folks to continue that process. Those folks that have received those lots and continue the good work. So that's the housing piece. The other piece that I talked about was economy. And how am I doing here for time wise? Am I doing good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Time-wise, or the economy, what we're looking at there is, you know, oftentimes the nation has limited resources in respects to what we get from the federal government every year to take care of our programs and our programmatic needs. You know, we have been saying since the 70s, you know, we do not have enough funding to take care of the needs that we have. And through self-governance, you know, we only get a small share of what we need. So we have to mitigate that with hard dollars and to cover the shortfalls. So how do we build an economy from there? Okay, we have our fish. We will always be fishermen. I firmly believe that. And you know, we have our fish house. You know, we have our fishing grounds. We have our ocean fishery. That'll always be an economy of our nation. I believe that. We have gaming. You know, which was a big step for us to approve that process, and that was done. And you know, that provides some jobs. It provides some revenue to the tribe. You know, we have some other things we're working on for economy, but I believe the big thing for the economy is we're going to have to look at opening up the reservation a little bit for outside dollars to come in, whether that's processing of some sort of product that there's a need for in the world, or whether that's you know, creating opportunity through the natural resources we have from forest products, you know, and supporting folks through micro loans that are available to us, and encourage business. I mean, there's a lot of things we can look at there. You know, I've always said, why isn't there 3 restaurants on Front Street? You know, why is there only one? I mean, you know, and how do we grow that thought? You know, that's where like microloans could come into play, where the nation is supporting tribal members that have that idea, you know, to build a business, whether it's a restaurant or something else, on Front Street or in their backyard, or you know, wherever there's a zoned place to do that kind of work. So those are some of the things we're looking at right now.
Yes. I see like the common theme here is you're thinking of building a really strong foundation before actually just diving into these major projects, because it's work that's really going to outlive us all. And it's not something that we should take lightly. So it's amazing that there's a lot of thought going into it.
Yes, there is. I believe there is.
Your next question is, how have things been the last couple of months since you got elected?
Well, these last couple of months, I think it's been 100 days now, I believe, since I've been in office, and things obviously have changed a little bit as far as like the subcommittee structure and the names of those subcommittees. Some of the processes that are involved now are a little bit different than when I was in office before as a vice chairman. But you know, basically, you know, the council, when they're in session, you know, we deal with issues. We deal with issues that are brought forth from the subcommittees, and that's where all the vetting of the issues take place, and then it comes to the council level for final action. You know, that basic theme is still here, you know, and it's still in place and functioning. And then the enterprise board is here as well, and they have their role, and I think they're doing a great job as well. But just trying to adjust. I come from a system of an independent businessman. I've been an artist all my life, and as a part of that, I've been involved in submitting contracts and having timelines, having work plans to get big projects done. So that's the background I have in dealing with things, and I'd like to try to bring some of that to the government level, because oftentimes it seems like the government process is something that really slows things down a little bit, and in some parts that's good. For some things that's good. um, for other things, I think there needs to be a sense of urgency on a lot of the issues, like the housing issue, like the economic issues. Those are big things that I think we need to push through and get done. And have a well laid out plan, like a work plan. I know when we did the casino, you know, years and years ago, we had a timeline on the board that went all the way across the council chambers. And on that timeline was specific things had to be done. There was tasks that were assigned to certain people. They had to get those things done by that time frame. So I think if we adopt some of those techniques for some of the projects we're working on, and hold those people accountable that are responsible for those things, then the fruits of that will start to show. And so I'm not sure if I answered you all the way, but those are some of the things I'm trying to get on the plate, if you will. And I want to get people to think like that.
Yes. So the last couple of months have been very busy and progressive, which
Yes.
is awesome. Okay, so my last question, and then we'll move on to questions from the community, is that this job is not an easy one. What types of self-care are you practicing to make sure that you don't experience burnout?
Yeah, that does happen. Sometimes you have to take time for yourself, and realize that without that time to refresh and to recoup a little bit, you're not going to be the best that you can be for your people. And that's where they want you. They want you to be the best you can, and when you're dealing with these things, with the meetings, with the planning, with all of this stuff. So what I find myself doing is, I spend a lot of time at the beach. The mouth of the river is a real sacred place for me, and I'm sure it is for all of you as well. And I try to exercise at least a half hour every day, which I believe is key. Sound mind, sound spirit, and a healthy body. That's where you need to be, and that's what I try to do every day. So, and I watch my diet, of course. I believe that the first Atkins diet, or the first what's the other one, the big one, the first keto diet was the native diet. And what does that mean? Well, that means, when 200 years ago, our ancestors ate fish probably 80% of the time. 10% of the time was elk and deer and bear and seal meat and the whale meat and halibut and things like that. 10% of the diet, or no, 8% of the diet was probably oils, bear grease, whale oil, seal oil, things along those lines, which we would dip our food in. 2% of the diet was probably berries and roots. So The protein and the fat basis of our diet, I believe, was the traditional diet that our ancestors have. And I believe the more our people lean towards that diet, the better off we'll be in the long run. And it focuses you to get out and move. I always say Indian food is hard work, because it is. You have to catch the fish, or you have to prepare to catch the fish. And then when you catch the fish, you have to process it. And then you have to cook it in a traditional sense. Either it's baked over the fire, or it's smoked and canned, or something along those lines. And it's the same thing with an elk, with a deer, with any of the foods that we eat, with berries. We go out every year and look for wild blackberries, wasps, and it takes a while to pick all of those, enough for jam and pie, and you want to share it with the whole family, and it's a lot of work. So my point is, don't be afraid to do all of that work. It's important.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Here are your community questions.
Sure.
Is there a possibility to have a maintenance crew, cleanup crew 12 months out of the year, as opposed to just the summer, that maintains the vacant lots, trims the trees back that are on the verge of failing power lines, keeping sidewalks from looking like sides of a highway?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, in the sense of the beautification of our village, Tohola, Queets, and Quinault. I believe your work is a reflection of your shop, and that again comes from my art background. And if your shop is a mess, well, what's your work going to look like? It might be a mess too. So how do we use that strategy for the villages? The village is a reflection of, or your work is a reflection of the village. Well, vacant lots, I believe, should be cleared, and I believe the tribe, in most cases, the nation has a responsibility to take care of those. And I say that in the sense of, we'll see a lot that has blackberry growth that's 20 feet in the air, and you ask yourself, well, what's growing in that blackberry brush? Well, there might be rodent nests, or beehives, or wasps, and that's a danger to all of us. So yeah, those things need to be cleared. Now, do I believe that needs to occur throughout the year? No, not necessarily. I think there needs to be a well laid out plan to address all of those things, and a accompanying budget to go along with that. And then when do we do that? Well, around budget time. That's October. We need to sit down and strategize. These important things. Like village cleanup. Yeah. So I think that's a good topic for our budget hearings that are coming up in October.
You kind of addressed this in one of the questions, but is there a way to ramp up the construction of housing?
Well, like I said, infrastructure is really key. The only other way to vamp it up or speed it up is to look at the current lots that we do have, which already have water. They already have the sewer and the electrical piece, and to possibly identifying a couple of lots, say in Tohola, Queets, in those two villages, and look at doing like a pilot project to just to see how it works and what it's going to cost, to see what the cost is going to be. And I keep saying that those modular homes that you can order and bring in on wheels and set up is probably the fastest way to do that. And the 2-bedroom homes, they range from 50 to 60,000 bucks. The setup of those homes is probably $8,000 to $10,000. So just with that said, you're probably talking about $160,000, $200,000 for two homes, for a two-bedroom homes, and that there could be done. And I've heard people say, well, no, you don't want to use a modular home. Those things just ain't going to last. Well, I disagree with that. I believe that it's going to last as long as you take care of it. That's the key point. You have to redo your roof. You have to caulk and paint. At certain times, at certain lifelines of that home. You have to crawl underneath once in a while. Make sure your sewer is well. You have to make sure the skirting is on there good and sound and buttoned up, so that there's no danger there for things to happen. It's just home maintenance is key, and that's with any home, whether that home be stick built or made out of bricks or a modular. So that's one way. Oh, excuse me. That's one way to speed things up. And that again, budgetary time in October, that could be a time to identify those funds and push that along. I would say as a pilot to see how it works and to see what the cost is. I mean, we can estimate all we want, but ultimately, boots on the ground is going to tell you what the cost is going to be. So,
Yes. Last community question. Is there an opportunity to raise the price of seafood to tribal members? Because natives tend to start their fishery before the state fishermen.
is there an opportunity to? Did you say raise the price?
Yeah, raise the price of seafood to the tribal members.
Well, I think our pricing scheme at this point, seems to be pretty decent with the competitive process that we have in place now, where we have agent buyers that are active, and it creates a mechanism of pricing where in the past I don't think that was really there, and I think we've grown out of that past. Now we're moving forward to ensuring that that our tribal members are given a fair price for their product. And as you know, as all of us know, that many of us rely on that supplemental income, whether that be clam digging or fishing on the rivers, that helps us get by throughout the year. And so yeah, we want to make sure that we get a fair price. And I think that in this current day and age, we have a mechanism that ensures that happens. And if I'm wrong, please correct me, but that's how I've read things these last few years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that concludes the questions from community. And I wanted to conclude on a really positive note. I wanted to share our first word of the week, and it is the Quinault word for smile, mukes. And I'll include spelling on the video, but yes, I want people to have a smile at the end of this podcast, and I hope they look forward to more.
Yes, you greet everybody with a firm handshake and a good mukes, and you'll be on your way. So I believe that.
Okay, well, siyo kuyo everyone for listening.
Yokuyo, ha, nan.